This is my current issues assignment. I'm doing the history of rugby. Rugby started out as a mob ball. This is where villages and town played against each other to try and get a ball back to their own town or to another village. This is a very brutal game. It would go on for days, even weeks. In 1823, there was a man called William Webb Ellis. He was playing a football match for his school called rugby. But one day he just decided that he'd just pick up the ball and run to the goal line. They were impressed with this idea and the name of the school. The school decided to name this version of football rugby football after the school. Webb Ellis is now acknowledged as the father of the handling game because of this. Round about the same time, there was a man called William Gilbert. He supplied balls to the rugby school where William Webb Ellis went to. It was then it became a well-known ball, the Gilbert ball, and we still use it today. Like I said, it's very well known. William Gilbert was a shoemaker. He operated from a small shop in the town on the 19th High Street, which was acquired by Gray's as a sports shop and still operates to this day. These early balls were a lot larger and rounder than today's modern rugby ball, and it could be kicked a very long distance at the time. There was no fixed shape then, and the just size and the shape and the weight just depended on how big the pig's bladder was when they made the ball. Between 1750 and 1850 was the Industrial Revolution. This made massive changes in sport. Rules were written and made. There was a lot more boundaries now in games. Teams and clubs were being developed. Team kits were being made. Stadiums, professional spectators, officials were brought in, and also tournaments were brought in. Money also then started to come in, and players started to get wages. Because of the factories going up, there was a lot less space to play the games. So less space meant boundaries had to be put in place, and pitches then started to get dimensions. So players had to stay between them in order to play the game. People started working in factories. And the owners of the factories would want the best workers there. So the better team they had playing mob ball, the better workers they'd want because of the reputation that they'd gained. Also, the introduction of the steam line came in during this time. Away matches could then be played. In 1846, 23 years after William Webb Ellis picked up the first ball, rules were written at rugby school where he went to. 2 years after that, the Cambridge rules were written up. These form the basis of the association game. In 1863, there was the split between rugby union and rugby league. In 1879, players first started to get wages. Players started to earn 1 shilling if they ever played an international match, which is the equivalent to about 5 pence. Over the years, wages increased and keep increasing now to this day. In 1886, the IRB was formed. The IRB is the International Rugby Board. This is the leading governing board in the world of rugby. It makes the most important decisions, finalises rules, and looks after every single country and team that play rugby. They're in charge of everything. In 1892, the RFU included compulsory dimensions of the ball in the laws of the game for the first time. This meant that the ball then had to be a certain size, they had to be made in a certain way, it had to be in a certain weight. In 1932, the FIRA was founded. The FIRA is the European Governing Board for Rugby. So it looks after every single country and every team in Europe that plays. This can organise tournaments, have European rankings and things like that. In 1905, New Zealand toured the British shores. They came over and demolished pretty much every British club that they played against. This proved to England that how far behind in the game they was, and that they really needed to sort it out. In 1987, the IRB organised the first Rugby World Cup. It consisted of 16 teams, and they played against each other until they had a winner. The World Cups still go on now today. In 2000, the Six Nations was formed. This was organised by This included France, England, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, and Italy. This was organised by the RFU, which is the governing board in England rugby. And now in the future, in 2016, rugby is going to officially be in the Olympics. And we're going to have a rugby sevens tournament in it, so it's always developing throughout the years. Next thing I'm going to go on to is my hierarchy. At the top of the hierarchy is the IRB, the International Rugby Board. This is the overall leading board in rugby. They make the biggest decisions, they're in charge of everything. They make the rules, organise the major tournaments, put together world rankings. They give out a lot of financial distribution. They look after the whole world of rugby. Below that I've got continental governing boards, which is the FIRA, the NACRA, the ARFU, the CAR, FORU, and the CONSUR. These are the working continents, so they're in charge of each countries in their continents. They put together continental rankings, put on tournaments, transfers, implement rules, and supply officials to games. And below that I've got the RFU, which is the Governing Board of England, UK Sport, and DCMS. These offer a lot of support. They give opportunity to people, they implement rules. The RFU especially deals with transfers, and especially UK Sport and DCMS offer a lot of funding to elite players that play in the game. Below that I've got the leagues. I've got Aviva Premiership, the RFU Championship, and National League One. These are the leagues within England. Different divisions. If you go up and down, if your team better if you win games. If you go down, if you lose. They offer a lot of funding, different rankings, and supply officials to the matches. And below that I've got National League 2 and 3, which is off of League 1, and also Sport England. Again, National League 2 and 3 are the different leagues and divisions below. Sport England likes to get involved in sport in schools. They like to get players involved, offer a lot of funding and help. And then the Oxford Male League and the Bicester Town below that. These are a lot lower leagues, especially for beginners, people that have never played rugby before, and that people want to get involved and to join a club from a young age, or even from an older age. They offer a lot of support, funding, and even more opportunity. I'm going to go into my technology and rugby. I've got 5 pieces of technology. I've got GPS system, boots, the replay system, gum shield, and Under Armour. The GPS system is a device that a player wears. This way he gets monitored by his coaches and his professionals at the club. Although it's very expensive to buy, and only at the moment elite players use them because of the high equipment, the computer system's hard to work out, and it's very expensive to buy. This has increased players' mentality during training because they know they're being monitored, so they're going to work a lot harder. Only elite players use it, like I said. You wouldn't get this in younger rugby because of how expensive it is, so they should bring in a new development, maybe a bit more simple, so younger clubs, especially like beginners, can use it to see what they're like. Boots. Traditionally, rugby boots were wore at a high cut just above the ankle. Throughout the years, it's become less common, and they're a lot more like football boots now. Low cut below the ankle, and they're very lightweight. The scrum players and the forwards, they're recommended to wear studs because of health and safety and that they don't slip, especially metal or could be plastic. Other players like backs are advised to wear studs for just changing direction and for grip on the pitch. Over the years, different designs of boots have come in, and a lot of players wear boots just because of what they look like and not so much anymore of how they feel. Younger children want to look like their idols, so they want to buy their expensive boots because of what they look like. Boots can be cheap or expensive, depends on which pair you buy. And now boots also have GPS tracking systems in, so you can measure how far you run and distances over a game. The replay system is used when referees can't make a final decision on a game because it's unclear. It does slow down games, but it does liven up and makes the right decisions. Gum shield's optional in rugby. Most players do wear them now because they protect your teeth and gums. They offer a lot of protection on your mouth, although it does stop a lot of communication, so a further development could be made a different way so that you can speak in them a lot better. Under Armour. A lot of rugby players do wear Under Armour now. It's to keep tight fitted, they keep you warm. They can have now with pads in them, So they offer a lot more protection and players feel a lot better wearing it because they know they're a bit more protected. It can though make a player feel like they're too protected, so they go for silly challenges. And also the disadvantage again is that it restricts a lot of movement because of the tight fit. Now media. The first part of media was word of mouth, of course, but after that was the newspaper. Newspaper was the first way in which promoted sport. Even when sport just started, this is how everyone found out about sport. Like back in the old days, they didn't have TV or internet, so the only way they could find out about sport was either word of mouth or newspaper. This was the original way people found out. It can be negative because some stories coming out are very false and can put athletes in a bad light. It can ruin athletes' reputation. You can also get a lot of information from them like league tables, top news, transfers and a lot more like that. Television then came in. This was the next level up. Matches and events started to be broadcasted on TV. People then started to be more interested and find out a lot more about the sports. People then just started to stay at home and watch the game and didn't go to the matches so much, the clubs were losing out on money. Although, because it was being broadcasted more, players still started going to the matches to support the team. Negative, like I said, it just stops players, people going to matches and enjoying the experience there. Internet is now the pinnacle of everything. Everything's on the internet, you can find out anything you want. You can watch matches, stream live games, look up information, look up news and updates, find out what's going on. Everything is on the internet now and anyone can find out and use it. Negative impact from this is that people find out false information or stories that shouldn't have been found out because press release it. And also they don't want it to be shared. That's my presentation on rugby.